Mommy high on marijuana, weed, pot, tries to drown two little girls.
They basically said that their mother tried to drown them.
Police records show she admitted to smoking marijuana laced with PCP. Her 6-year-old daughter said her mother told them, "We were fixing to die."
Good evening. Mommy high on weed, pot, marijuana, tries to drown her two little girls. Right now to LA, Howard Samuels, founder and CEO of the Hills Treatment Center. Also with me, let me formally introduce Norm Kent, president of NORML. Gentlemen, both of you, thank you for being with us. Howard, I'd like to hear your take on this.
Well, first of all, Nancy, the legalization of marijuana makes me disgusted. Okay, there are so many people that are psychologically damaged by addiction to marijuana. In fact, I was addicted for 5 years before I got sober, which was 29 years ago, and I was addicted to marijuana. In fact, when I was smoking marijuana, I smoked PCP, which is called angel dust, because it was mixed with the marijuana, and it was a horrific experience. So for Norm to be pushing this, he's pushing for our kids to get loaded and making our kids' lives that much more dangerous out there in the drug culture. And it actually makes me sick to my stomach with people like Norm trying to promote this.
Well, you know, another thing concerning me, Howard, listen to this. Norm, this woman, this mom, has one criminal offense, and it was 14 years ago. It was pot. So when you say it's not addictive, this is 14 years later, and she's still smoking weed.
There's no indication, and Nancy, let's be realistic. They're going to name a strain of marijuana after you in Colorado, where you smoke a joint and become irrational. Somebody smoking pot 14 years ago.
Okay, if you could just answer the question, that would be great.
Make them addicted today. Come on, be real.
Okay, so Howard, she was busted 14 years ago with pot. 14 years later, she's still high on weed, except now tries to murder her children while she's high.
Well, I got to say, I mean, this is where addiction takes you, is that for me, because I was addicted to marijuana after 5 years, I then went to heroin and cocaine. And of all the people I've treated, and I've treated thousands of people, I've been doing this for over 20 years, is that marijuana is where it starts, okay? And
what do you mean by that? What do you mean marijuana is where it starts?
Well, a lot of people will end up smoking marijuana because they think it's harmless, because they think it's safe. And that's what Norm is promoting, along with a lot of other people. Marijuana is not safe. It leads to harder drugs. And 15 to 20% of the people that end up smoking marijuana become long-term addicts and can get into such psychological issues like this case in Dallas, which has just been horrific.
Norm, I want to hear your response.
My response is that there are millions of Americans that use cannabis responsibly, that go on to a higher education, become lawyers like myself, doctors like your friends, and are capable consumers of marijuana. And a regulated system will make that marijuana safe for consumers everywhere in America. And we ought not to deny Americans that freedom of choice,
not even a
not
response.
to go to jail.
I think maybe you're actually high right now.
That's a great response.
Because what Samuels is talking
Nancy,
about
being
is that,
with you is grounds for being high.
Howard, you were talking about marijuana being a gateway drug. That's what you were talking about. And that was just like 2 minutes ago. If you could repeat that so maybe you can jog Norm's memory.
Yeah, help me out with your addiction,
thousands of people that I have treated have become addicted to marijuana, and as a result went on to become heroin and cocaine addicts. I would say 15, 20% of the population. What Norm is suggesting is that we mass produce it, we mass promote it, which will add to more addiction in this country and a treatment center on every corner. That's not what I'm looking to do to protect my children, that's for sure.
Dr. Patricia Saunders, clinical psychologist, in a nutshell, do you believe this mother even remembers what she did? She was so high on weed. Does she even remember she tried to murder her girls?
Probably not. It's the PCP that's really the loaded drug. It makes people psychotic. And
so you're saying no. Okay, then my next question, Dr. Howard Samuels, would be, isn't it pretty common that PCP is in marijuana?
That's usually where it's found. I mean, that is the most common way of using PCP is in marijuana, and you do not know if it's there or not when you're smoking it.
Norm Kent, response?
Nancy, if millions and millions of Americans have used cannabis responsibly, why are you creating the impression that it causes people...
You always say millions and millions of people use cannabis responsibly.
And they don't drown their children. Yes, they do.
Example after example after example of people high on pot that commit killings. And I can't really put it to a murder because I'm not sure what the state of mind is.
You're showing me isolated examples that aren't accurate. This is a woman high on PCP. People who smoke pot do not lace it with PCC as a matter of course. Howard is out of his mind to say that, and it's absolutely absurd
you know what?
to have him on the air
I'm glad
to
you
say
said
it.
that Howard Samuels, the founder and CEO of the Hills Treatment Center, is out of his mind, because you say that about everybody, including me, that disagrees with you. So I'm happy to stew in that pot, pardon the pun.